Hello guys, how you doing? So as you know, we'll be building our dome here pretty soon. We're pretty excited about that. The architect is nearly complete, and I've got the engineer working on the strengthening part because we live here in Florida and we got hurricanes that come through every now and again. And what you may or may not know, depending on how many videos you've watched, is that we'll be living as close to 100% self-sustainable as possible. And what that means is the word off-grid, term off-grid rather, has a lot of positive and negative connotations to it. And so I want to kind of talk about that and demystify some of it today. So that's what we're going to be talking about. All right, so first, off-grid can mean many things to many different people, and sometimes we think of it as living in the hills of Tennessee or the backwater of some state that we don't have a lot of money and we're impoverished. So we have to be self-reliant that way. But the truth is that you can live off-grid and live a very amazing lifestyle. Just depends on how much money you want to put into it. You can do a lot of stuff DIY. And you don't have to hire somebody for everything, and it can still look really nice. So off-grid, what does it mean? So off-grid means to rely on yourself and not somebody else for the basic things in life: water, power, sanitary, food. These types of things are all considered to be on or off grid. You can get power from the power grid. You can tap your sewer into the county or city sewer lines. You can get water from the county or city. But if you live off grid, you have a well, you have a septic tank, you have at least solar power, but maybe you've got wind power, or you live near water and you can do generator power. Who knows, maybe you can do hydrogen power. So for me, we'll be doing a little bit of everything. So that way, if something fails, we won't have to worry about that one system failing us. So for instance, I'll be doing a passive solar water heating system for my water. And all that is putting a box up with tubes in it, and the tubes get nice and hot, and water goes through these tubes. And as the water goes through the tubes, I can dump this into a tank just like we have normally in a home, and the water just keeps cycling through until I need it. If it ever is that it's cloudy or the tank runs dry, then I'll have a backup propane Insta-Hot heater. So that's an example of how I can get hot water. Now, by the way, just so you know, I lived off-grid for 6 years of my life. So I have quite a bit of experience in this. And as we build these things, I will show you in complete detail of how to build, for instance, this passive solar water heating system. All right. Now, we'll also be doing solar. I don't necessarily think it's the best energy source because takes a lot of energy for the solar panels to be created and the batteries, but it is one of the best known and most prolific because the sun's always with us, so I will do it. I live in Florida, so I won't be able to do too much wind generating, so I'm going to have to work on 0-point energy, and we'll talk more about that later. It's technologies that have, up until recently, have been kind of pushed away, have been kind of blacklisted from the government and from big oil tycoons, but we'll see how that goes for us. All right. Okay, other off-grid things is having a well. You can pretty much have a well anywhere in the world. You just got to dig deep enough. There's lots of water underground. In fact, some people, scientists believe that the oceans, that's where they get their water from, is from underground. So we have a well already on our land. And for septic, you need a septic tank, and you don't have to push into the city. So the septic tank, if you do it right, can in fact not smell, not have an issue, not back up. because it will be eaten away by bacteria and eaten away by bacteria. And if you separate things correctly, if you separate urine from feces, and then you can also do other things like possibly water a garden, or the plants that you're not going to eat. So that's an option as well. Now, for gas, you can actually produce your own gas as well. So for instance, you can do what's called a biodigester. And the biodigester is where you put all your food and a bunch of other stuff into this bag, basically, and the bag generates through bacteria growth. The bacteria eat all the foodstuffs and they release methane. And the methane gets up into the gas, and then you can put the gas into some type of a bottle, and then you can do hot water. You can turn a flame on, you can cook with it. So I can even do my passive solar that I was talking about with this biodigester. So we'll definitely be doing a biodigester. The biodigester also provides nutrients for gardens. So the leftover matter in the form of a liquid can be used as liquid fertilizer, and you can tap into that. So a biodigester is something that's pretty needed in a household. Now, the next thing that you can do is grow your own food. And this is one of the last pieces to being self-sustainable, because then you won't have to go to a grocery store. How cool would that be? Groceries keep going up and up and up in pricing, and so you can grow your own food. So for me, being vegan, it's pretty easy and simplistic. I build a garden and watch it grow. A lot of work goes into that, but you can do in-the-house gardening as well. You can do sprouting, super easy. You can do windowsill, you can do herbs, you can do grow towers. All these things can be done inside of a normal home, and you don't need a lot of land for it. You can do small hydroponic or even small aquaponics right inside your home. So keep that in mind. All right. Other things of being completely self-sustainable are learning the craft and learning crafts of building and creating your own stuff. So what I'm talking about is soap, deodorants, toothpaste, shampoos. Those things can come very handy if you know how to do it yourself. Even candles can be done on your own. All these things and more will be talked about on our journey to becoming off-grid and sustainable as we build our ribbed dome. And remember, we're going to be doing the dome self-sustainable as well, because we're going to be wrapping it in hempcrete. So all these and more are going to be talked about in great detail, but those are some of the aspects of what it means to be off-grid. And it doesn't have to be so scary. You can do a little bit of solar. You can do an Insta-Hot hot water heater, and you don't have to have gas in the house. You can do it electric, but you can do it propane also. You can grow your own food right now. So guys, you can do completely off-grid, you can do a hybrid off-grid, and you can start doing it right now in your home when you live on the grid. So I would say start something small. Start growing sprouts, super easy. Then maybe you can look at something else. Maybe you can put a solar panel or two up. Then maybe you can change your hot water system from an electric to an Insta-Hot, and maybe that Insta-Hot can use propane. Maybe you can learn how to generate your own propane. It's easier than you think, guys. It's just a matter of getting out of your box and doing something new. You'll love yourself for it, because the more you do, yes, you'll put a little bit of time, effort, and money into it, but the more you do, the less you're going to have to rely on the old way to do it. So keep that in mind the next time you go to the grocery store, that you're like, hey, I don't have to buy a bell pepper, I can grow my own. Or hey, I don't have to get a propane tank, I can generate my own. Or, hey, I don't have to pay that electric bill. I can create my own electricity. Oh, and water? Oh my goodness, I don't have to have the county pump it in, and I have to deal with the fluoride and the chlorine and everything else that goes with it. You can pump your own water straight from the earth. So, what do you say, guys? Why don't you create a hybrid off-grid system where you live right now and tell me about it? And I will teach you along the way. And hey, guys, one other thing before I let you go. Just so you know, I'll be forming a membership section for those of you who want to learn more. I won't be able to go into total great detail on each one of my videos here on YouTube for a couple different reasons. And so I'll be locking down greater content in the membership section. So go to the website, GaiaDomeSolutions.com, which I'll put in the link below, and you can see the membership there. I haven't started loading anything into it yet, but I will be, and it's going to be a lot of great content for you. So I look forward to seeing each and every one of you and building a community of people who want a more sustainable lifestyle.